I'm going to start doing some sanding on the hull now, just to try and prep this for a paint job. And then hopefully, I'm expecting some good weather this weekend coming, so hopefully I can then get the rest of it, or at least get a first coat on. So that's one side done. It's taken me just over an hour to do that. So I should have a little break and then I shall do the other side. The bit that took the longest was getting these bits out, because I had to sand it sort of quite far back. See, someone's obviously had a go here, sanding some bits off. You see, and it ends up like this, although it's nice and smooth now. Lovely and smooth. So that's the other side done. It was actually quicker doing this side and the back than it was doing the whole of the other side, because I think I just got in the swing of it a bit, and I used a slightly harder grit sandpaper. On the other side I used 120. On this side I used 80, and then I actually went over with a 120 afterwards, and it was just so much quicker. So yeah, that's done. I've given a quick sand on the bottom as well, but it needs another going over really and getting right under. But yeah, it's pretty good. At the back I've done where I can, which is most of it, but I think I'm going to take this off, because I thought this was alright, but I've discovered it's actually bent there, so I'll probably get a new one. So I'm actually going to take that off, and then I can paint under it. Take this off as well. I think this is for the depth sounder thing that's inside, and it obviously had some trunking that led the cable down to it, but that's obviously gone, so I'll take that off. The rest I'm going to leave on. I'm just going to do round the ladder. Yeah, so looking good. Now I'm not going to paint it today or do any more on it today, because I reckon there's 20% chance of rain, which is a 1 in 5 chance, and knowing my luck, it'll rain and ruin it. So tomorrow it's supposed to be no rain and nice weather, so I'm going to come back and finish off and actually do the first coat of paint on it, I think. This is the red I'm going to use. It's International Rochelle red. It's quite a bit brighter red than what's on there, so I think it will look quite nice. And then the anti-foul at the bottom is going to be black, so it's sort of going to be a black and red theme on the bottom and then white on the top. I could have taken it back to the gel coat. If I'd have kept sanding like this, I could have taken it right back to the gel coat and then maybe treated it in some way to sort of get it back to shiny, but it would just take so long to strip all that off. So I've surrendered to the fact that it's always going to be a red boat from now on, so, which is nice. I haven't had a red hull boat before. Be nice. So I've been round now and done the final prep for painting. Just masked off a couple of little bits. I've taken the outboard mount off the back, and yeah, just gone round and done a few bits and pieces. I've had to take the front rest piece off the front of the boat there, because I couldn't move the boat back easily, and obviously I need to paint under there, so there's a small gap for me to be able to do that, which is fine. So let's get painting. So that's the first coat done. It's not come out too badly. Obviously you can still see some of the bits underneath, so I'm hoping with a couple more coats they go away. If they don't, then I'm going to have to do something about it, aren't I? But we'll see. This particular paint, it says you don't need to roll and tip it, which if you don't know means you roll. Some paints you roll like that, and then to get rid of the roll marks you sort of get a paintbrush and just lightly go over the top. But this you don't, and I can kind of see why, because it has smoothed itself out in most parts. I think I've used a bit too much paint in the odd places, and oh, missed a bit there. That's not good, is it? I'll have to come back and do that. But yeah, it's looking quite nice already, I think. The bits at the back I've gone round as best I can. There's a drip there as well. That's why you don't use a paintbrush, if you can help it. Yeah, so that's only the first coat anyway, so it's going to get a sand, a light sand, and the next coat will be important, and then I shall probably do a third coat after that. So I'm going to leave it to dry now. It reckons it takes 3 hours to be touch dry, between 8 and 16 hours depending on the temperature. 8 if it's 25 degrees. So today it's going to get up to something near that, so I might be lucky and be able to come back this evening and do another coat. We'll see what time I get. Also with the anti-foul line, you can see I've gone up to it and over a bit, because it doesn't really matter, because I'm going to be doing the actual straight part of the line when I do anti-foul, so it doesn't matter if it looks a bit rough at the bottom for now. So it's about 8 hours later and I'm back, and it's dry, or dry enough certainly to sand and give another coat. So I'm going to try another coat and see if I can see if it covers up this these marks, the marks from underneath. If it doesn't, I'm probably going to end up having to take it back and put some more primer on, so we'll see. Okay, so I've put a second coat on, or started to, on this front bit here. I've done up to about, you can probably see the line somewhere there, and I've sort of given up because you can still see the underlying bit. I think the colour difference between the what's underneath in the layers is too much for it to overcome, so I think I'd have to put probably about 10 layers on to actually cover that up. So I'm gonna have to go back and put some primer on, I think. So that's all I can do here for today. I'm gonna have to wait till that dries, come down, sand it all down again, and put some primer on first and then start again. But at least I found out before I opened another tin. Right, back today to undo some of the work that I did the other day. It's a right shame because this has actually come out alright, apart from the fact you can see what's under it. So I've got to sand it all back, and then we'll primer it and try again. So I've given it the first strip back. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. I'm probably not going to get a chance to paint it for a little while because the weather's about to turn for a few days. So I'll leave it at that for now, and I'll give it another going over again just before I'm ready to go, and then we'll try again. So the primer I'm using is this 1UP by International. I'm going to, for the red, I'm going to mix the white primer and the blue-grey primer together to give a sort of an in-between colour, to get the red just the sort of the tone that I want it to be. That's it, and mixing those two together makes that colour. So that's the first coat of primer done. Looks a bit different now. It's not red. So just been round and done the second coat now. I gave it a light sand in between and put the second coat of primer on now, and it looks pretty good. So I've just put the third coat on now with sanding in between coats, and it's okay. It could probably do with a fourth, to be honest. I'll see how it dries. But red is notoriously difficult to put on, so we'll see. But I'm going to have to buy another can of paint if I go for a fourth. So I'm back the next day. It's all dry now. Just having a look at it, it's okay. It definitely looks alright from a distance. When you get right up close, you can still see some slightly different tones on it, very slightly. Generally, I think it's okay, and it'll probably do for now, because I'm sure that's not the last time I'm going to paint it. It's just whether I bite the bullet and buy another 30 quid can of paint and do another coat. I'll have a think about it, but I'm going to leave it for now. We're going to get some bad weather after today, so I'm going to leave the bottom for now and start concentrating on some of the inside and the top.